The deaf community, when I was growing up, well, let me see, Henry looks for Eva Look. She was a born deaf mute. I don't know her lineage to be in Banks, but she was a typical Chilmark deaf mute. My great-grandfather's brother, Elihu, Lucy Vincent's father, was a deaf mute.
Really?
Chilmark deaf mute. Now, there was a woman named Katie. Okay. Katie West, whose home is now the Chilmark Library. She had married a West, so that was not her heritage. Right. She was made deaf due to a childhood illness. Yeah. But that was 3. And then, trying to think, there was one of the Flanders in Menempshire was a deaf mute, but that was from his Mayu connection. Oh, and Josie West down, he was a farmer halfway down the hill to the school, so I'd see him every day, and he would invite us over to watch him milk the cows, because he had a way of squirting the cow's milk into the cat's mouth, and we just thought that was wonderful. So that was an entertainment on the way home from school. But he was a deaf mute, but we didn't think anything of it. Right. But those were all deaf people that were in town and they would come to visit my grandmother, and they'd sit all afternoon and talk, you know. And my grandmother taught me how to say, hello, come in, sit down, she'll be right with you, and that kind of stuff.
Do you remember them?
Not much. I know the alphabet still, but it'd take me a while to get through it. Yeah.
And so would you ever converse with any of them?
Well, just that much. I could say hello, nice day, or, you know, I just remember the women sitting around talking and being able to understand a little of it, and then they would always try to get me to talk to them, so that was fun. They'd get you into the conversation.
And when you went to the store, when the mail came in, would there be everyone's?
Oh, that was the fun time, yes. Everybody loved to go to the store at about what time the mail came, and we'd all sit around and visit, young and old. Everybody would gather at the store.
And would a lot of people talk in sign? I mean,
Oh, sure. Yes. It was incidental. Everybody knew it, and they all just chatted with each other. And everybody would sit around on barrels and boxes, and they would constantly be moving to watch whoever was speaking. But it was a lot of movement, and they just were very lively and animated. But there wasn't much for anybody to do except go to the store and talk to people. During the war, there was nothing, no entertainment of any kind. It's funny, somehow or other we made ourselves understood as kids, so we didn't feel different that we didn't know all the signs. But we'd laugh a lot, and they'd laugh and clap, and it was fun, you know. They were part of the group, and so were the kids.
And so you could understand the signs better than you could speak them?
Yeah.
They were part of everyday life?
Yes, I did not know that was unusual. I mean, I don't know when I became aware that people were interested in that, but we lived with a lot of non-hearing people, and we managed to communicate. Now, I know my mother, who was always paying attention, told me that one of the fascinations when she was young was to sit in the church in Chilmark and watch Captain Smith, who was a whaler, who was one of the Chilmark Deaf mutes, and his wife would sit in church with elbow-length kid gloves on, and in her lap, she would be signing the sermon to him. And my mother was intrigued that she could make the letters with the kid gloves on. But people just didn't, you know, sure. And as I guess I told you, I learned the alphabet very young and used it whenever I had to. It was just accepted. When I was growing up, the deaf community, that was the West family mostly. Now, of course, know better and know that it came through several different families, the Lamberts and the Mayhews, and many of them who came to Chilmark from England. We all know now the history of the recessive gene, but in those days, the deaf members of Chilmark were accepted as part of the community and nobody really questioned it. We all learned to live with them and they with us. James Mosier is my great-great-grandfather. And the Mosiers had been coming to the vineyard for a long time. And the first record I could find was 1776. Mosier married a Lambert. Harriet Cottle married James Mosier. James Mosier is my great-great-grandfather who came here, brought his house, established his family. Harriet Cottle was the daughter of a West and a Cottle. The deaf gene, unfortunately, traveled through those very lines, West Cottle. And as I guess I told you, my great-grandfather's brother was a deaf mute, and he was the father of Lucy Vincent. She was a young woman when she married Myron Vincent, who was a much older man. He was a trap fisherman, very successful at Menepsha, and she told people in the family she elected not to have children because she didn't want to continue the deaf gene, which she knew was a cause of her father's deafness. I do feel lucky that I was born early enough to still be part of the Chilmark that included some of the Chilmark Deaf. It made an interesting dynamic that they really were a part of the community and there was no prejudice against them or awareness of them being different. And I think that really made Chilmark a special place.